Hi guys, my name is Mina. In this video, you are going to learn how to make this beautiful shorts with an elastic band. If this is what you're interested in, stick around. Let's dive straight into the video. So I'll be using 1 yard of Ankara fabric for my shorts. For a plus size, you need more than 1 yard. The measurement I'll be using for this band includes my waist, I need my hip, the crotch depth, the thigh, my hip line, my round knee, and my full length. I divided my waist and my hip circumference by 4. For my thigh, I divided it by 2. So I have 11.5. So I'll fold my fabric using my thigh measurement. So I have 11.5. I'll add extra 1 inch to it. You can see 11.5. I'll add extra 1 inch is going to be 12.5. The next step is to roll a starting line. So I'll go ahead and roll my starting line. From the starting line, I'll come down by 2 inches. This 2 inches is where I'm going to input my elastic band. So this new line is going to serve as my waistline. So I'll go ahead and mark from my waist to hip. Waist to hip line is 8 inches. I'll go ahead and mark it. So I'll also take my crotch depth. My crotch depth is 11. To achieve your crotch depth, go ahead and sit on a chair, then measure from your waist down to the chair seat. Okay, the next measurement I'm going to input now is my full length. My full length here is 16. I'll go ahead and add extra 2 inches to it for my seam allowance. Okay, so I'll go ahead and draw a straight line across like so. So I'm done taking all my vertical measurement. The next thing I want to do now is for me to take my horizontal measurement. So I'm going to input my hip circumference on my hip line. I'll take 9.1. My hip circumference divided by 4 is 9.1. I'll go ahead and mark it just like so. So I will equally take the same thing on my waistline. This is because I'm going to use elastic band, so there is no point shaping it. So I'll go ahead and draw a straight line across. Notice I also extended the line to my starting line. The next step is to take my thigh measurements. You can see my thigh circumference is 11.5. I'll go ahead and mark it. The next step is to take my rounding measurement on the full length. So my rounding is 20 divided by 2 is 10. I'll go ahead and mark 10 inches as shown. The next step is to add extra ½ inch to it for sewing allowance. So I'll go ahead and mark ½ inch on it. Then I'll mark the same thing on the crotch line. I'll equally do the same thing on the hip line, adding ½ inch to it, and on the waistline as well. Okay, so I'll use my stress ruler and connect the lines together. The next step is to connect my thigh circumference and my round knee circumference together, just like so. The next step is to use a curve ruler to connect my hip circumference to my thigh circumference to achieve my crotch curve. So I'll go ahead and connect it just like so. The next step is to go ahead and cut it out. After cutting, I'll go ahead and fold my fabric into 2. That is for the back. Then I'll add extra 2 inches to it. Okay, so here is it. I've gone ahead to fold this by 2, and I also went ahead to add extra 2 inches to it for the back. I'll go ahead and extend that line to serve as a guide. So I'll input my 2 inches across like so, starting from the starting line. The next step is to join all the dotted lines together. So I'll also do the same thing down here. The next step is to cut it out. The next step is to slit the center. Okay, so we are done cutting the front and our back. The next step is to sew it by ½ inch. The ½ inch we added for our sewing allowance. I'll also repeat the same thing for the back. So I'll take it to my sewing machine now and stitch it together by ½ inch. So here is it, guys. I'm done stitching it. I also went ahead to give it a nice press. Okay, so this is it for the front and the back. The next step is to place the front and the back together like so in order to join the flap or crotch depth, whichever name you have for it. So I'll go ahead and join it together as shown. Those two lines have to align with each other as shown. So I'll use my pin to pin it together. Equally pin the down parts together, which is a full length. Then I will do the same thing to this other side. The next step is to mark ½ inch round, just like so, because I'm going to sew it with ½ inch. So I'll mark it across. I'll take it to my sewing machine and sew it on that line I just marked. So here is it, guys. I'm done stitching it together. You can see. So the next step is for me to join the sides together with ½ inch as well. So I'll go ahead and mark ½ inch like so. Then I'll connect the lines together and secure it with a pin. I'll equally do the same thing to the other side. Then I'll take it to the sewing machine and stitch it together. So here is it, guys. I'm done joining the both sides together with ½ inch. So the next step is to work on the waistline. You know, we added 2 inches for elastic band. So I'll go ahead and fold it by that 2 inches. Just like so. I'll use my pin to secure it together. After securing it with a pin, the next step is to take it to my sewing machine and sew it round. So here is it, guys. I've gone ahead to sew it. I also left like 1 inch where I can pass my elastic. The next step is to fold the down part. You know, I added 2 inches for my seam allowance. So I'll go ahead and mark the 2 inches across. Then I'll fold it by that 2 inches. So here is it, guys. I'm done sewing it together. Remember, we did not use our waist circumference while we were cutting. So here is where we are going to use it. So I'll go ahead and measure this elastic band by my waist circumference. My waist circumference is 27. So this is 27. I'll subtract 6 inches from it. So I'll have 21. So I'll cut my elastic band by 21 inches. The next step is to pass my elastic round through the 1 inch I left. You can see how I'm passing it. As you're passing the elastic, ensure you are adjusting it as well. So when I'm done passing it, I'll take it to my sewing machine and I will stitch it together as shown. So here is it, guys. I've gone ahead to sew it inside and also to stitch the 1 inch that I left. So this is the final look of it. If this tutorial was helpful, please consider smashing the subscribe button and also like the video. Leave a comment in the comment section as well. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys in my next video. Bye.